Right, hello, welcome back. That was a quick break, wasn't it? I actually had to switch the heating on after telling Stefan in the first half that I hoped he was warm. I certainly wasn't. I hope you are. Welcome back to this EV Economy webinar hosted by Master Investor and the Small Cap Network. We've got three more companies to hear from this afternoon, and we're going to start off with Equipmake, which is engineering and electric future. Now, it listed in 2022 and its shares are traded on the Aquis exchange. I am delighted to be joined by the founder and the Chief Executive, Ian Foley. A warm welcome to you, Ian.
Hello there. Hi. Okay, so I shall just share my screen and get the presentation up and running. Okay, right. I think we've got technical difficulties over. Okay, so so we're Equipmake. We're based in Norfolk in England, and we design and manufacture all of the key technologies required for electrificational transport. So that's motors, inverters, which is the electronics box that drives the motor, battery packs, etc. And we are in production with a global customer base. And crucially, we are vertically integrated. So we design and manufacture the whole drivetrain, but also we integrate it onto the vehicle. And well, why is that interesting? Why is that important? There's been a lot of talk recently in the press about the fact that the likes of Tesla and BYD are not only selling the most electric vehicles, but also making a profit, whereas the other large incumbents are struggling to make a profit. And part of the reason for that is that with the electrification challenge, the whole architecture of the vehicle has to be redesigned. Unless you're in control of all of the parts of that, then it's much more expensive to have all the individual components from the individual tier 1, tier 2 supply chain. So as there needs to be a complete redesign of the architecture, being vertically integrated is really crucial to getting the most effective product and, crucially, making a margin. I'll come on to why that is in a little while. We were delighted this week to bring on board Nick Moulders as COO to join the team. He brings great experience from a company called Sensata, where he's been involved in taking technology companies in the electrification space from startup through to production. So he's a great addition for the team. Looking at the sectors we're in at the moment, we're focusing on the bus sector, but we're also in marine, aerospace, and performance automotive. Sometimes people might say, well, aren't you diversifying a bit too much? But the crucial thing is it's the same technology in all those sectors. And for sectors such as marine and aerospace, we partner. So we've got a philosophy or strategy of partnering with key companies in the different sectors. So we're producing the core technology, they're doing the sales and marketing. And when I talk about core technology, so this is some of our IP. So as I say, we design and manufacture the motor, the electronics box that drives the motor, the inverter, and that's really our core IP. And then there's a whole systems integration. So the integration of all those items into a product, which is the area that the majority of the incumbent industry is really struggling with. And that's an area which has led to us winning a number of global OEM customers that I'll come on to. And another example of why does vertical integration work? So our competitors are purchasing from tier 2 suppliers, motors, inverters, etc., at a high margin. They then need to make a margin on the end product, whereas we only have to make a margin once. If you look at something like the inverter on the bottom there, that's the electronics box that drives the motor. You need 2 of those to drive a motor of that size. We've managed to incorporate the 2 of them into one inverter, which is designed for our specific application. And this saves us huge cost. So basically, a combination of the fact that we are manufacturing and not purchasing at retail, but also we are integrating the exact specification for our requirements, means that we can, our core components are a fraction, probably 50 to 60% of the cost of our competitors. And this is a global opportunity, so we're already supplying as far afield as Australia for rocket motors, North and South America, and throughout Europe, with customers such as Caterpillar Perkins, biggest tour bus operator in the world, First Group, the biggest bus operator in the UK. And within buses, that's our core business at the moment, where we've got two opportunities. We are partnered with the company on a new bus, but there is a huge opportunity for us in the repowering of existing diesel and hybrid buses. So repowering means to get a bus which is probably about 7 years old. A bus lasts about 15 years, taking out the diesel engine and gearbox and fuel tank, replacing that with an electric drivetrain. So typically for the customer, it's about half the price of a new electric vehicle. And we can see there our repowering site in North Norfolk, which is full of vehicles at the moment being repowered for the UK market. But repowering is also a global opportunity. We're having discussions with numerous companies in the US. If we look at the yellow school buses there's 470,000 yellow school buses in the US. There's about 80,000 transit buses. One of our competitors, C Electric, recently won a $100 million order to repower 1,000 of those. So huge opportunity globally. We are currently looking at the US, but in the UK, where there's 5 different funding regions, we're already well advanced with repowering in the UK. But we're not just repowering, so we also have an OEM business, and we supply systems for new vehicles for Emergency One, which is the largest fire truck manufacturer in the UK with an 80% market share. But through that company, we're supplying Rev Group, and the truck you can see on the top left there is an American fire truck, which is currently in production. The whole system's supplied by Equipmake. But also there's other special vehicle manufacturers such as airside special vehicles on the bottom left there, or port trucks. So we already have 2 global OEMs in those fields as customers. And we also have a growing aerospace base. So we supply rocket fuel motors for a company called Gilmore Space in Australia. And we've also been the supplier for the prototypes for an eVTOL company called Vertical Aerospace in the UK. But our most exciting aerospace opportunity is with a company called H55, who's developing a drivetrain. We are the motor supplier, and this product will be the first fully certified, fully commercial electric aircraft in production. There has been an aircraft by a company called Pipistrel. The Pipistrel was bought by Textron. That was a microlight aircraft. But we are part of a program, partner in a program for the first fully certified, fully commercial aircraft, and that will be in production in 2025. And in another area where we are active is in the ultra high performance automotive market. We're a supplier to Rimac Automobili, company which is 50% owned by Porsche and produces the fastest electric supercar in the world. We've got a multi-year contract to supply the front inverter for that vehicle. And then lastly, in marine, we also are partnered with a company which has produced a foiling electric boat, which has won multiple records in the last year. So again, the same core technology, our core technology of motor, inverter, and drivetrain integration is applicable to multiple industries where we are already active. So as a result of that, that gives us a fantastic growth opportunity. There's an illustrative revenue split there, which actually shows repowering tailing off. We don't believe that repowering will die away by 2029, but our strategy is to work with more partners to do the physical repowering while we supply the core drivetrain components. But we've also got a large license opportunity, and a really exciting opportunity for us is that we've partnered with a company called Sony Comstar. Amongst others, Sony Comstar made 2 million low voltage motors a year for starter motor and alternator applications with customers such as GM and Ford outside of India. They've licensed our technology for manufacturing for the Indian bus market. There's huge growth in that market. The Indian population, I think, has already exceeded China. The bus market's going to be bigger than China, and so we will be in production with Sona Comstar within the next year. But one of our most exciting opportunities has been chosen by Perkins, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Caterpillar, the largest OEM, off-road OEM company in the world. And for this project, we are developing a bespoke motor and inverter that will go into a zero-emission off-road drivetrain that will be a hydrogen-powered engine, but with an Equipmake motor and inverter as the hybrid elements of that. And Perkins currently manufacture 200,000 diesel engines a year for these applications at their site in Peterborough. So you can make your own guess how many of those are likely to need to be zero emission in about 5 years' time, but a significant proportion of them. In terms of our current size, we turned over 5 million last year. We're growing rapidly. We expect to exceed that significantly this year. We've got an 11 million order book currently, which is growing all the time, and currently loss-making, and we will turn that around in the next year or so. That gives an example of our current shareholder base. And we've made significant progress since the IPO in the last 18 months, where we have buses delivered and running for First Group, biggest bus operator in the UK, license agreement signed, supplying one of the largest airside vehicle manufacturers in the world, and the Perkins contract that I just mentioned. And then lastly, we were delighted to get a testimonial from First Group in York, where we've delivered vehicles into their pool, and they're telling us that the availability is the best of all the vehicles they've got, which is a fantastic testimonial for us. So yeah, so that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Ian. And you talk about testimonials there. Now, I understand from doing my research into you that Caterpillar, who are associated with Perkins, which is this deal you're very excited about, I think Caterpillar did a 12-month due diligence on, or not you personally, but the company. And so that in itself is sort of the Caterpillar credential, sort of hallmark, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, they needed to be sure that that our technology was appropriate and the best. I think the thing was there's an awful lot of companies of our size who are on the road to productionization, but we could demonstrate an existing production capability that gave them the confidence that we were going to meet their targets for 5 years' time. But it's a fantastic testimonial. But similarly with Sona Comstar, I mean, they manufacture 2 million motors and inverters a year, and they needed to be sure that in licensing the technology, we had something that was able to be productionized at volume. And that's the other critical thing for us, is we're developing very high spec product, but designing it at the start to be able to be productionized at volume.
So I was thinking about all those yellow school buses in the US, and then I was thinking about the population explosion in India, and how education is very, very important there as well. I'm just wondering about the growth potential. So are you targeting the US first and then India, or both concurrently?
So the great thing about our partnership in India is that we're licensing the IP, so Sona Comstar are doing the heavy lifting in terms of actually developing that market and the product, and then we will get a license fee from it. We are really excited about the US opportunity, where we had a UK focus, but we've been approached by multiple companies in the US. Having researched the opportunity from a market size and a margin point of view, it looks like it can rapidly accelerate our business. But again, our strategy is to find the right partners. So we're actually supplying the core components. We'll have a partner in the US to actually do the repowering.
And very finally, because you did skip over that particular slide, it's worth reminding the audience that you have got significant skin in the game, if you want to remind people about the percentage of shares that you hold.
Yeah, yes, it's just under 40% at the moment. So I have got as Jim Slater would have said, an owner's eye. So significant skin in the game, and yes, hugely important to me that we are generating returns for shareholders in the shortest possible time frame.
Many thanks, Ian. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.